Laoshi Lawrence McElroy here for Water Tiger School of taijiquan. As you can see, a little bit different camera angle. We had some changes in technology over the last almost month now, and it's one of the reasons that we're delayed in posting fresh content for the site. So there you go. Sorry about that. There's going to be another delay between this one posting and the next one, just because of the way the spring is unfolding. It has, sprung. So not a lot announcement-wise. We're working diligently on our 2022 in-person World Tai Chi Day event on Long Island in Suffolk County. So that's going on. Still dealing with pandemic stuff, but right now, crossing fingers, crossing toes, knocking on solid objects, that sort of thing. Things are looking a little bit brighter these days. So there's that, and I think we'll just get right into it. So today, what we want to address, well, first we'll start with a warm-up. For the Tai Chi videos, we've been focusing on Huang Xingxiang's 5 loosening exercises. We're at exercise 3, so we'll introduce you to that today. It's complexity wrapped in simplicity. I think I've said that before with the first 2 and around other things. And then today's video topic is X marks the spot, which is, something that we've addressed throughout our play in Tai Chi since we started doing these kind of videos once the world stopped in March of 2020. Things like you see the lines, right? But we're going to get into that a little bit deeper. So I think without further ado, we'll do that then and have my trusty timekeeper, because we're going to, for the loosening exercise 3, we're going to do a timing thing. So, I need to remove a layer. So we're still to, reruns on t-shirts. It's been a little over 2 years since this one has made an appearance. It was March 22nd of 2020, and it was part of the lecture series that was like the first video series we posted to our YouTube channel, the 5 root goals of Tai Chi and Qigong, and this was for regulating the mind, so the third of the 5. And it is my go-to March t-shirt around St. Patrick's Day, because it's like the only green shirt that I own. So feet about shoulder wide. Oh, look, they're right on those blue lines. One of the primary things we explore through Huang Xingxiang's 5 loosening exercises is how a small movement can manifest a big movement. You want to bring things together, you want to bring things from the center, that sort of thing. And again, not a lot, and this isn't a complex piece. Wait until we get to number 4. But really all it is on the little rise of the body, it brings the one hand up on one side, and then on the drop down, that's what brings the hand back in place. And notice I'm not swinging it back. It's not opening the heart from Water Tiger School's Awakening in the Chi. It's an inhale on the rise and an exhale on the sink, an inhale on the rise and an exhale on the sink. And sort of having that intent for the drop down to not only drop the weight down, but to drop the fingertips down and have the arm and the hand and the fingers and the thumbs embraced by gravity. So we're going to get started. Oops. Bring the darn thing over here, and then I don't get it prepped to time us. So we're going to go for about 2 minutes and begin. And remember, it's an inhale up, so we're going to start down a little bit. Find an exhalation and inhale. And exhale, and inhale, and exhale, up, and down, up, and down, up, and down. Inhale, and exhale, 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 inhale, and exhale. And just keep going. So that little move from the Shyan, from that esoteric, there we go. Wow. Cut. Now we're just going to keep going. That esoteric sphere that sets in the cup of the hips, and a little flip, and a little turn, a little undulation from side to side. And that joint-to-joint movement, that's something else to which I want you to pay attention. It's not shoulders to fingers. It's not stiff. It's like a banner waving in the wind. One of those air fan tube guys outside a car dealership. It's a soft and gentle kind of whip. Just a little while longer. You want to balance the sides, so whichever side you started with, I happen to start with the right for some reason as we're shooting. So the next time you complete a pair, that will be the last one. Again, a nice buzz in my arms. So that is from Huang Xingxiang, from his 5 loosening exercise 3. So the next time we do a strictly Tai Chi focus, we'll introduce you to 4. That one will take a little while longer. I'll just tell you. So X marks the spot is what we at Water Tiger School have jokingly referred to as the Arthur Murray School of Taijiquan. Because back in the day, Arthur Murray would send footprint patterns to people to teach them how to dance. So it's using marks on the floor. So the first thing is indeed, taping out your lines. Now, we tend to use, because we're indoors all the time, painter's tape, because it doesn't really leave residue. For the longest time, we used masking tape until we were leaving marks on a certain mat, a certain place where we rented studio space back in the day, and decided, no, that's not going to really work. What else can I use? Somebody said painter's tape. And I went, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So at your shoulder width. Now, Water Tiger School defines shoulder width where the drop of the shoulder is on each side, splits the feet in half. So the heel's in half. So if you're doing something that requires shoulder width, this is a good way to make sure that you are shoulder wide. Of course, anytime you put a mark on the floor and you have to look at it to see if you're stepping correctly, that means you're breaking vertical alignment. So it's not all good, but it's a training wheel. I don't know if over the last 2 years I have told the story of my father and training wheels. I probably have, but since I just said training wheels, I have to tell it again. And by the way, in the last couple of years, I've seen a television commercial that's sort of the same story. But anyway, when I first started riding a bike, when Dad was teaching me how to ride a bike, I had the training wheels on both sides of the back wheel, right? And then one of the wheels came off. I don't know why I did that with my right hand, because I'm pretty sure it was the left wheel that Dad took off, because his son was right-handed. So if I started to get in trouble as I was riding, I knew if I just leaned to the right, that training wheel would hold me up. And then that training wheel was removed, and it was Dad's hand on the back of the bicycle seat. And it wasn't long thereafter that I was riding along. It's like, Dad, are you still back there? And from about 30 feet behind me, yes, son, I'm still holding on. The reason for that story is training wheels aren't meant to be permanent. They're meant to give you some support when you first start. So eventually you have to look down, say you're doing our walking the rails, or let's just, I'm going to go with walking the rails. Walking the rails, where the feet stay parallel. You have your hands in one of 5 places. And I can sort of see the blue lines in my peripheral vision, but I can also look down to see, yes, I'm shoulder wide. The lines also make sure that my toes are forward. I should not see my instep on the outside of the line if I am in a foot parallel position. So lines are great. They also work when you're walking backwards. You can walk the rails backwards. They also work when you're watching the video monitor. You don't actually have to look down to know whether or not you're shoulder wide. So you can keep your feet, so you can sort of train yourself and maybe just check every once in a while. See my left foot kind of angled in a little bit, a little adducted there. My right foot isn't quite, it's the abductor one. So I make those adjustments. I feel what those changes are like, and then I continue on. And of course, also, if you know Water Tiger, you know we usually don't just stop something. We do a little casual closing. So you have your lines. Now I'm going to lose the lines because they will sort of maybe cause some confusion as we continue on. You can also, there are certain points in, say, the 24 posture form. A lot of people refer to it as the standardized 24 posture form. Still, even though so many people do the 24, the Young style 24, and yet we all do it differently, and we still call it the standardized 24 posture form. So it's the 24 posture short form. Young style, medium frame for Water Tiger School. There are certain points in that form, in the teaching of it, that I may suggest to somebody, you know, a little sort of single moment practice in stepping. Now we could have probably left the shoulder width lines on the floor for a little while longer for the first one, because our white crane, you can see I'm not quite in what we would refer to at Water Tiger School as a cat stance. I'm not crossing and closing the groin. I'm also not in what some people would refer to as a standardized or a standard white crane stance where the groin is open. I'm just not comfortable in that position. So I'm fairly closed here, but that foot is down there. And of course, the next step is brush knee. Brush knee twist step, brush knee step and strike for Water Tiger School, especially in the 24 at least. But you know, we move through our white crane, we bring that left heel, the left foot in, brush the left knee, and step, and we should step to our shoulder width. But a lot of people, as they go through white crane, will pick up the foot and put it right back down where it was. So to help break them of that habit, I'll say, you know, you can do the line thing, or you make a mark where your right heel goes, and then based on your right heel location, you step that foot out to where you should be for your four stance. And then you put a mark for that four stance. And then you practice, and you practice, and you practice, and you practice getting that foot in the correct spot. So that kind of exercise works in various ways for different postures. I also find it useful in Twin Dragons Chase Golden Pearl. Some people call fists to ears. It comes in after our Water Tiger Schools kick with right heel. We withdraw, fall over apparently during shooting, because that's when you want to fall over. Boom. Finding my balance. All of a sudden now I'm worried about falling over. And in to Twin Dragons. So it's another stance position. But once again, because of that action, kicking, coming in, a lot of people do all sorts of things, too long, too wide, they get leany, but you want to make sure that you're going to step from your kick and withdraw into your shoulder wide position. So once again, now it's the left heel that you have to determine. I'm going to blame the fact that I'm wearing shoes. Don't tell anybody. Because, you know, that's just an excuse. Shouldn't matter. Should not matter. So again, where's my force stance? Where should I be after my kick and withdraw for my twin dragons to be in my normal force stance? I should be in the same position I would be if I were in a right parting the wild horse's mane, a right ward off, a right brush knee step and strike. So once again, I have my set. It doesn't feel quite right. There we go. I have where my left heel belongs. I set it up. And this can work for various forms, various lineages, that sort of thing. So I do. Got. Settle in. Maybe it'll help if I come up out of it. Boom. 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 Withdraw. There's where I step. Boom. Shoulders dropped. Elbows sunken. Fists for us to temples. So I should fit my head right between my hands. So you have your mark. You can look down and see it. You settle in, kick, withdraw, look down, and boom. Look down and boom. Look down and boom. Look down and boom. And if you know, whatever your normal habit is, you might want to just say, okay, body, this is what I want. And then whatever you normally do that's wrong, do that and go, oh yeah, you know, you can start to feel the difference, sort of play a little tai chi detective to work those things out. So those two exercises are pretty similar, or those two examples are pretty similar. The next one is the one that can tend to get to people. And then the one after that, not shoulder width, it's a different stance. But it's something that we can also use as an example. So the next one comes after our snake creeps down sequence. The second golden rooster. There's a transition from the second golden rooster into our first Fair Lady weaves at shuttles. And for us, it's a backward step. And it's a backward cross step. Because I have to find a position from that. If I'm here in my golden rooster, I open up, step out, start to form the ball, foot comes in, goes back out, and I place the ball of the foot in such a place that where my heel touches down, I'm going to turn on the back heel and pigeon-toed. I'm going to turn on the front heel, and I'm in force stance. So this is a little bit long for me, so maybe I need to put my marks down. So I figure out, okay, where do I have to step for my heel to land in this position? So I take a look at that, and I know that's where I have to step. So I've come in here, I've formed the ball, I step, and I get a feel for that. Form the ball, step, and find that mark. Form the ball, step, and find that mark. So I can step, turn on the front heel, turn on the back heel, and I'm in my force stance in my first Fair Lady. This is one where a lot of people, you know, step that way, step really long, but it's just finding that place where you're in that correct position. Now, a lot of people do Fair Lady, and it's more linear. We go a little bit past the center line, very much a bubble here. But that backward step is another one that can mess with people. So, you know, again, I started talking about, you know, we're inside, so we use painter's tape. You can go outside, you know, if you don't mind, driveway, sidewalk, that sort of thing, and chalk marks, entertain the neighbors. That could work, right? I stay away from, you know, I don't really recommend using three-dimensional objects when it comes to marking spaces. You might do that if you need some landmarks of some sort, like you're doing a form that needs to be taken to the 4 cardinal directions, and you just feel like you need something to mark where north is, where south is, or something like that. Then maybe a three-dimensional object. But for this kind of play, this kind of deep drill, tape for us works best, so you can find that correct spot and end. And the last one is sort of similar to the first one, and it is insert needle at C-bottom for us. Some would call it pick up needle at C-bottom, which is what we call it in our lineage's long form. But it's still needle at C-bottom or insert needle at C-bottom in the 24 into fan back. So what I mean by it's sort of the same thing is we're in needle at C-bottom, setting down, inserting the toes, inserting the fingers. We pull out and step, and a lot of people will step on exactly the same line that they were just in. So it's sort of almost a T-stance. T-stance would actually be with the back foot out like that, but you know, I would say this is a taichi kind of styled T-stance. But where I really should be is my single whip stance. So I'm not shoulder wide in our single whip. I'm not heels aligned or, God forbid, heel into the instep in this particular form, in this particular stance. But my left foot is somewhere to the left of my right heel. So again, and I want to be, I can actually, for us, we take our single whip, and if we add that upper torso twist, that's our fan back or fan forward through the back. So the other tape was getting a little raggedy. Just want to set my marks here, boom. So once again, I have the visual. I know where I am in front of the camera. No. I'm in my needle at C-bottom, right, which comes from, so another thing that will mess people up is it actually comes from Fair Lady weaves at shuttles left, come in, insert needle at C-bottom, withdraw, and go, okay, that's where my foot goes. Boom. And there I am. Needle at C-bottom, withdraw, there's where my heel goes, and boom. And once again, if you're doing this X marks the spot thing, this Arthur Murray School of taijiquan, because you're normally doing something you shouldn't, then also take a moment to go, okay, that's where I usually do that. Yeah, no wonder now she's after me to say, oh, wow, that's easier. That's what I want. I don't want this anymore. I want this. That way you make a little bit, you know, sort of a conscious exercise in mind-body connection. So there you go. Tape out the floor. You can actually, do the soles of the feet thing if you want, and do little footprint charts. Chalk marks, tape, quarters. I knew I forgot something. We talked about, dropping quarters on the floor. That, not ideal, but that could work too. They're flat enough that they wouldn't interfere. I'm sure there are other things. I know where we rent studio space now, 4GK Martial Arts and Skills of Patchogue, they have little plastic discs that are, just sort of matte material-ish, that are flat and would set on the surface of the floor. Those kinds of things will work. But you shouldn't, this stuff works. It's not cheating. Some people say, oh, well, that would be cheating. It's like, no. You do what you have to do to get familiar with the way that you should be moving, the way that you should be stepping, where your feet should be, what your shoulder width is. And then take those tools, those training wheels, away. You know what you call a tool or a training wheel on which you become dependent? No longer a tool, no longer a training wheel, but a crutch. We don't want crutches, but we need to feel comfortable in doing what it is we need to do to break through that next barrier, climb to the next plateau, all those other things that we talk about in our own personal journeys with the art of taijiquan. So there you go. That's really all we have today. Not a long one, not a short one, sort of in between. And I know, once again, it's been something that we've addressed from time to time as we're doing different things, approaching different aspects of Tai Chi over the last 24 months now. But we realized that we'd never done a deep drill into this. So be patient with us as we get through the rest of the spring, besides just getting things on track technology-wise, which is still an issue for us. In our preparations for World Tai Chi Day, we're going to take a lot of focus through months of April. We do hope to get back with another video before April's over. We'll probably switch gears, go back to Qigong. What we're talking about as being in Q is the last of the five frolics of the tiger, since it is, the beginning of the year of the water tiger. So we thought it was appropriate to sort of finish that one out before the other animals. And I think that's it. So thank you for your time and attention, as always. Remember, on the YouTube channel, we preview all the comments. Not that we get that many. But we take a look at them first because the algorithms, if you flick the switch for screen for inappropriate comments, the YouTube algorithms don't catch, like hot links to hot dates, that sort of thing. So we take a look at those, and as long as you're not flaming, whatever they are, good or bad, we let them go through. We also post a link to this to our Facebook page, where, of course, we sort of have the same policy, but we don't preview comments. So there you are. Thanks again. Take care. Stay safe. And we'll catch you the next time.